Action Comics 747. And this is one of those times, and it's not very often that I will say this, but this is one of the first times that I didn't really enjoy a Superman comic. I get what the creator's trying to do, but damn, let's get into it. I'll say just to preferences, preface. You guys know what I'm trying to say. I haven't had enough coffee yet. I felt it felt a little pretentious, and I get that it's supposed to serve the story, but it was enough that it made my eyes roll back in the back of my skull. So the print date on this was August 1998. Now let's read a little bit of the dialogue. This is one of those ones, if you all remember, from the early 2000s. I don't know if DC did a lot of it, but Marvel, I think it was for a full month or two. I don't remember, but they did this whole thing called Nuff Set, and essentially what it was is a trope where there was no dialogue like whatsoever, and everything was just panels, which was fun. But sometimes it's like, damn, I could really use a thought balloon here. And this is sort of what this book is. It's all third person narration, no dialogue until the end. So with that said, it says, quiet, listen. In the beginning, before enlightenment, reality was without form and void. And when a mortal dared love a god, when reality was poisoned and things were not as they are, when interference and meddling altered the course of time and space, in the end, all was chaos. And you're thinking, okay, damn, this started out kind of interesting. I can't see where this is going to go. So this is Eye of the Storm. Writer, penciler is Stuart Immonen. I think is how you pronounce his name. Inker is José Marzan Jr. Letterer is Albert DeGuzman. Colorist was Glenn Whitmore. Separations was Digital Chameleon and Marine Mitgeyer, I think is how you pronounce it. And can you all tell me what the hell is a hagiographer? I do a lot of graphic design, but I've never heard that term before. It's Joey Cavalier. Anyway, beautiful splash page. I will say that Immonen, sure. I like the style. And as we go towards the end, I'll explain why I think his art style fits the book. But let's continue. As you can see, no dialogue balloons yet. In the beginning, gods created the heavens and the earth. Some chose the sky as their domain. Some walked among us, among the believers. Without them, even a god would wither and expire. They give the divine substance, meaning, reason. For not even a god is absolute, while enlightenment is their birthright. Anyone may attend it. God, shut up. I get it. They're trying to be theological, but I think the reason it bores me is the fact that people have likened Superman to religious figures so much that while I'm reading this, I'm like, fuck, it gets to be like, I get it. Even Scott Snyder trying to, in his version of Superman, doing the whole Catholicism type poses of Superman when he died and whatnot. I'm like, I get it. We don't need the. So with that said, let's continue. I do like the idea that what they're saying is relating to, like Clark Kent living amongst, but again, it's sort of like a little too on the nose. And we continue more and more and more. Through the writings and teachings of believers, we extended the faith. Through the faith is littered with obstacles, deep pits of doubt, fiery pillars of questions. The believer asks, which is stronger, a wall of stone or a wall of one's will? Everything, even a stone wall, is an objectification of the mind. We ourselves create them and limit our choices, our potential. I had to stop and just, okay, backtrack. And about the closest thing we get to what the hell is going on from the Daily Planet as we see shark attack in Hobbs Bay, dozens mauled, garbage scow and tugboat collide, shipping lanes blocked. For some, there is no wall. For some, there is no choice. Wisdom means distinguishing between every sort of good and evil. And knowing the difference, the wise never wholly ally themselves with darkness or with light. So ignoring this just droning on and on and on, Superman here looks badass. I love how, of course, close up on Clark Kent ripping his shirt open. And now, one thing let's notice here: this isn't the Daily Planet. Let's focus on that because that was one thing that I missed. This is WGBS. I can't remember if that's supposed to be a Silver Age thing remind me down in the comments, but just remember that that's not really the Daily Planet, or if it's supposed to be like an affiliate, because we see Perry White, we see Lois, we see Jimmy, and look at Jimmy's clothes. Let's kind of keep the clothing in mind as we're going. I had to go back and flip through after I finally read what this whole thing was about. We see Lois get kidnapped. And of course, Superman doing the shark attack, which is like a very old school Superman style. And again, Immonen, how about we just call him Imodium? Because I can't remember the name. We see the trickster doing something to Lois. We're like, wait a minute, what? And then I love the deep black ink. We're like, wait, why is she smiling? She just got kidnapped. And that's another thing we'll talk about in a minute. So spoilers are going to be at the end for those of you that are not quite familiar with this. We finally see Lois go, Superman come to save Lois. He realizes the trickster has her. Suffering begins when the deceivers and pretenders exceed their grasps, clutch at the air and reach for the stars. Too late they perceive the senselessness of their acts. Too late they perceive their undoing. But no one falls farther than he who deceives himself playing at godhood. Hearing, sight, and touch are means to illumination. How long before one must face reality, when the ear is not yet filled with hearing and the eye is not satisfied with seeing? And it just drones on and on and on and on and on. I don't feel plot beats like you do with stories where, you'll get thought balloons dialogue. Or even in manga where you'll just kind of see no thought balloons whatsoever. You just the panels, visual storytelling, which is what the meaning of the comic is. This just feels like it just goes and goes. And fuck. And then you're like, wait, why does Lois have a bazooka? Now, as we come to the end, we finally see dialogue. Hear my words, Superman. Search for your true self. Think, is this the reality you know? Like any other mortal, Superman turns away from difficult choices. With my guidance, he will follow the claimant path. Sure. No matter what she says, he will not hear. You're being manipulated. Turn to me, Superman. Open your minds to the disparity of your surroundings. And so we come to find out that it's some sort of bad dude pulling the strings. So the whole book was this dude's internal dialogue. So with that in mind, I could see how, it's a villain monologuing. And you're just like, God, come on. And it's something different, something fresh in that regards. But let's think about if this was your first comic. Like, let's say you never read a comic book before and you ask your friend, hey, what Superman comic should I read? Action comics. And they go and grab this one. They're going to go, what the hell was this? I'm talking about truth, justice, and the American way. And we're just getting droning on of a villain's internal monologue. Not a great point. Now, with that said, this was apparently part of a bigger arc. This dude, it's his first appearance, I think. Anyway, if you guys want to read the next issue is in Man of Steel 82, which I will not, because I don't want to do this again. What is his name? I had to look it up because I don't even think it told us. Yeah, it doesn't even say. Oh, wait, here it is. Dominus. Apparently, he has altered reality. We are back in the Silver Age. So this is like 60s, 70s. And that's why the colors kind of have that checker pinstripe and why everything kind of has this very old school feel about it. So that's interesting. Okay, how is reality being altered? But we're not given anything. So in terms of suspense, sure. But as a standalone book, you're like, well, fuck, now I got to go pick up Man of Steel. Give me something I need a point of reference. I feel like, because it's been a while since I've really read a lot of older action comics. And I'm just like, what the hell's going on? The Earth's destroyed, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't until we got to this little girl, which we have no idea who the hell this is. What's going on? So, beautiful artwork. I like the chances that the writer is taking, but yeah, just on and 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 on. My God. I want to see Superman talking a little bit. I'd like to see what this new altered mind Superman's thinking. And also because this is sort of like this enough said thing that I was talking about at the beginning, I don't know how the trickster manipulated Lois. We see her get kidnapped. And and even with this type of dialogue, it doesn't help. It goes, moving in circles, accomplishing nothing. The divine way cannot be persuaded through transitory experience. Like unto a shadow, if one moves towards it, it moves away. Only power understands power. Only a god may comprehend a god. And so she's got this worried look, and all of a sudden she smiles. What did they do? I don't know. And this book does not give you anything. And I guess that's kind of, if you think about the old 50s, 60s, 70s, they'd end films open it for you to think. And I guess that's what they're expecting you to do here is like fill in the puzzles, literally the cover. I don't know. What do you guys think? I can go on just about how this kind of irked my girk, but I was also entertained at the same time. So I guess at the end of the day, since I was sort of entertained, cool beans. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it's going to get you action figures and comics and grab this book. If you've enjoyed this review / rant, really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little trickster bell next to subscribe, that was like content content. You guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with you on hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure there'll be links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.